Inshallah, we'll be reciting the first few verses of Surah Mu'minun, inshallah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قد أفلح المؤمنون الذين هم في صلاتهم خاشعون والذين هم عن اللغو معرضون والذين هم للزكاة فاعلون والذين هم لفروجهم حافظون إلا على أزواجهم أو ما ملكت أيمانهم فإنهم غير ملومين فمن ابتغى وراء ذلك فأولئك هم العادون والذين هم لأماناتهم وعهدهم راعون والذين هم على صلواتهم يحافظون أولئك هم الوارثون الذين يرثون الفردوس هم فيها خالدون ولقد خلقنا الإنسان من سلالة من طين ثم جعلناه نطفة في قرار مكين ثم خلقنا النطفة علقة فخلقنا العلقة مضغة فخلقنا المضغة عظاما فكسونا العظام لحما ثم أنشأناه خلقا آخر فتبارك الله أحسن الخالقين ثم إنكم بعد ذلك لميتون ثم إنكم يوم القيامة تبعثون ولقد خلقنا فوقكم 7 طرائق وما كنا عن الخلق غافلين صدق الله العلي العظيم. سورة المباركة الفاتحة. My dear brothers, sisters, respected Shaykh, Assalamu alaikum. After the day of Ashura, the evening of Sham Ghariba, and after the abuse and torment that came in the following days, Bibi Sakina, she speaks from the court of Yazid. She says, after hours in this court, I rose. After hours in this court, I rose, in this court of thorns, arose, emitting the fragrance of Hussein and his sacrifice, I rose, with the courage only seen in the daughters of Ali. But as I stood, I was pulled down by a weight. For before on my ankle would be bracelets, but now a weight as I stand in this hell for the sound of footsteps. Now I wait as I've asked to see my father and to send my greetings. I now await how fate has turned, for I am alien to this all, only used to walking from my father Hussein to my uncle Hassan. Now I walk to Sham with my aunties, how they miss my uncle Hassan, whilst my mother Rubab is still blinded from the sight of watching them kill her son with the same prongs that would pierce his chest. 10 of these spikes against our necks are now pressed. For before, only the blade of thirst would be felt on our neck. For before, only the blade of thirst would be felt, but now these 10 did. When my grandfather was alive, I would never be left unattended. But in this court, He is absent, only the head of his son attended. For these days of Sham have made me weep more than the 10 did. If they were to lock me up for eternity, my biggest fear is for Auntie Zainab. For when the fires were alight, they would remain forever tense. For when the fires were alight, she would remain forever tense. Yet the memories I can't forget, for in my nightmares are forever tense. If the past were to present itself again, I would lament in every tense how my grandfather would foresee and mourn upon the dust on which we walk. But I wonder if he'd seen how they made us march and crippled us. For when we'd fall, so would our hope as their grip pulled us. Like him, we do mourn as our feet pull dust. My uncle Abbas's flag I could not see, so I knew not which direction to walk. For when I last visited him, he lay by the riverside. Everyone was shocked when he fell, even those from the reverse side. As he fell, the ground shook and the river sighed as its water still flows in its banks, but Abbas's flag flows no longer. I plead, O uncle, come to this court to protect us from these strange men. But an answer would never come. An answer would never come, an answer I was not to find, like when they would taunt my father Hussein, an answer they were not to find. But he was killed and we were abused, so that today Islam was not defined. For inside the man on this throne, an ounce of Islam you are not to find. His faith is what paraded our heads uncovered. People would jeer as to ask, who are these captives? Who are these captives, and they come from which army? For we are from the house of Muhammad. How dare they ask which army? Their ignorance, it paves their way to the fire, yet they think it their insults which harm me. Our tongues raised on his words. Our tongues raised on his words and work only in his praise, yet their voices loud, words clear as nights turn to days, for the weight of their words will be felt in their scales soon. As the weight of Auntie Zainab's words will measure on their scales too, for on that day every soul shall pay in full what it is due. For on that day, every soul shall pay in full what it is due. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat. Can you please all join me in reciting 5 times Amma Yujibu for Talibai's brother who's not feeling well, Ali Ahmad Jadi, and all those who are not feeling well. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Amma yujibu al-mustarra idha da'ahu wa yakshifu su. Amma yujibu al-mustarra idha da'ahu wa yakshifu su. أما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء أما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء أما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء. اللهم صل على محمد. We pray to Allah to give him a shifa. Can you please recite Surah Fatiha for Marhum Cheryl Bhai Ladak, who anyone who's been to Moshi would have known that he was very respectable, founder member of Moshi Jamaat, and used to recite Adhan and duas for a long, many years, probably about since I was born, 50 years ago. So he passed away in Dar es Salaam. Can you please recite Surah Fatiha for Marhum Cheryl Bhai Ladak and all our Marhumin? Surah Mubarakatil Fatiha. Can you please invite the Maulana to the member with the loud Nahr Salawat Bar Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad Salawat.
محمد وآل محمد. رحم الله من قرأ الفاتحة. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل، نعم المولى ونعم النصير. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وبه نستعين وهو خير ناصر ومعين. الحمد لله الفرد الأحد الصمد الذي لم يلد ولم يولد، ثم الصلاة والسلام والتحية والإكرام على سيدنا ونبينا وشفيعنا وطبيب نفوسنا وحبيب قلوبنا، الذي سمي في السماء بأحمد وفي الأرضين بأبي القاسم المصطفى محمد، وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المنتخبين المنتجبين، الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين من يوم عداوتهم إلى قيام يوم الدين. أما بعد، فقد قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إذا أراد الله به عبدا قذف في قلبه حب الحسين وحب زيارته. صلوات على محمد وآل محمد. Respected mu'mineen, as it is 10th night of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein and the martyrs of Karbala, that is why the topic that I have chosen, it is a beautiful topic, and it is in regard of crying and lamenting and shedding tear on Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. Of course, when it comes to Karbala, when it comes to Ashura, ulama, they said the Ashura, it is not confined in time and space. Ashura, it is something which is not confined or which is not bounded in 61 Hijrah. It is beyond that. Even today, it is a Ashura. And also, Ashura, it is not confined into the land of Karbala. It is beyond the time and space. So that is why one of the hadiths, it says, Kullu yawmin Ashura wa kullu ardin Karbala. That every day it is Ashura day and every land is a Karbala land. So that is why, our ulama, they said, the Karbala, it is everywhere. Ashura, each and every time we have, it is Ashura time. Why? Because if Ashura is not there, the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not there. If Ashura is not there, Tawheed would not be there. So it is all saved by the Ashura. Now, when it comes to the discourse of tonight, human being, he has, which we call sorrow or the joy. Sorrow or joy or delight, it is something which belongs to the heart of us. When we have sorrow, so there are different way of expression or expressing this sorrow or this state of the heart. And ulama, they said there are three major way of or three major path of expressing our sorrow which we have in our heart and which belongs to our qalb. So what are those? So sometimes you see people, they express their sorrow, they express their grief by their tongue. It is called al-ibraz al-qawli. They scream or they recite or they express sentences or they lament So these it is called al-ibrazul qawli. By your tongue, by your mouth, you express that you have pain, you have grief in your heart. Sometimes there are people, those who are not able to express it by their tongue. So what they do writing. They write, their pain or what they have in their heart. And that is why you see so many writers are there, those who express their grief by their writing. There are so many poets, they manifest and they express their sorrow, what they have in their heart, and they bring it into the writing. So this is the second way. And that is why you see in our riwayat, it is said that when you have pain in your heart and you want to ask something from your imam, you have to write it down on the paper and then submit it to the running water or a river, which is called arida. So sometimes we express our sorrow through the writing. And the third way, it is our face and our eyes. So when someone has pain in his heart, so many times you see in the community, when you meet people, you say you are not looking, well. Your eyes is telling that you have sorrow and you have grief in your heart, because your eyes are shedding tear. So today, inshallah, the discourse we will have, it is about the tear. It is about the cry. Because we are told by Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam that we have to cry for Aba Abdullah al-Hussein. The sorrow or the grief of Aba Abdullah al-Hussein that we have in our heart, we have to, express it by, and we have to apparent it through our eyes and through the shedding of the tears. And that is why there are so many riwayat, man baka al Hussein or abka or tubaka wajabat lahul jannah. Even, if a tear which is equal to the wing of a fly comes out from your eye, it quench the hellfire. So all these type of riwayat, they emphasize that we have to express our grief in regard of Aba Abdullah al-Hussein through our tear and through our crying. So that is why this tear and this crying, it is very important. Our ulama, when they discuss this crying, they said that the cry for, when a human being cry or when we shed tear, it is divided into 7 types. This is, this discourse, it is very important. 7 type of tear or 7 type of, crying we have in our life. Number 1, cry. And of course, let me tell you, it is in the beginning, that first 3 type of cry or first 3 type of tear that we have, they are not appreciated in Islam. They are not appreciated even by your intellect and by your logic. So what are those 7, cry? What are those 7 type of the tear? So they say the first tear, which is called the tear out of helplessness. Sometimes you are helpless. You do not have power. You are, you have to surrender before. For example, a ruler, when he gives judgment that you should be slaughtered, or you should, when he gives judgment and he gives sentence of death to you or to someone, so what happened? Normally human being, he start crying. So, but if you look at the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, and especially the paramours of Amirul Mu'mineen, when the death comes before them, they never ever cry. But some coward people, some buzdil people, when they find themselves that they are helpless, though they start crying. And let me give you some example from the history. There is a book of Sheikh Abbas al-Qummi, which name is Tatimmat Muntaha al-Amal. Muntaha al-Amal, actually, it is a very beautiful book and it's very famous book of Sheikh Abbas al-Qummi. Sheikh Abbas al-Qummi, after that book, he wrote another book which is called Tatimmat Muntaha al-Amal. It is a completion. The first book, it was published and it was printed. And then after he wrote another book which is called Tatimma. So over there, he mentioned this history, and he said that in the time of Harun al-Rashid, because Harun al-Rashid, he had 2 sons. One of them, he was Ma'mun al-Rashid. The second one was Amin al-Rashid. So because he had 2 sons, so what he does before he depart from this dunya or in his lifetime, he said the province of the Khurasan, is belong to the Ma'mun al-Rashid, the one son of him. And the Baghdad or Iraq, it belonged to the Amin. So he has divided his, territory into two parts. One part is given to one son, the other part to another son. So this is how, he has divided. But when he depart from the dunya, Mamun al-Rashid, he was not satisfied on the division of his father. He said, because we know if someone is hungry for power, he's not satisfied at all. So Mamun al-Rashid, what he does, he attack on Iraq. And after attacking on Iraq, he has the control of there in his hand, and he arrests his own real brother Amin. And when the Amin is arrested, and he was dumped into the prison. So what happened over there, first in the beginning, a strip was fastened on his head or on his eye, so he could not see. So when Amin, he goes into the prison, so at midnight he opened his eye and he see that there is someone who is next to him. So he asked him who you are, because it was all dark there. So that man, he said, my name is Ahmad ibn Salam. Ahmad ibn Salam, actually, he was the slave of Amin. And both of them, they are arrested and they are put in one room of the prison. So this over here, Ahmad ibn Salam, he narrate that when we were both together in the prison, so I observed that the Amin, he is crying so badly, and he is, he's crying and weeping like a child. So, and he said, I observed that the body of Amin al-Rashid is shivering. And he told me that I don't know what is happening to me. My body is shivering. Can you please hug me? So Ahmad ibn Salam, he says, I hugged him. I controlled him for him not to shiver, for him not to tremble. So what happened? At midnight or after midnight, Ahmad ibn Salam, this is written by Sheikh Abbas al-Qummi. Sheikh Abbas al-Qummi, he said, after midnight, Ahmad ibn Salam, he said to Amin that, oh Amin, allow me to offer my namaz al-shab, because Ahmad, he knows, and Ahmad, he himself narrates that tomorrow I don't know whether I will be alive or my head is going to be chopped. So that is why let me pray my namaz al-shab, let me pray salat al-tahajjud. So over here, Sheikh Abbas al-Qummi, he says he is the slave of Amin, Abbas is slave. And he gives this much importance of this on the salatul, layl. So why the follower and why the paramour of Amir al-Mu'mineen, they don't give, importance to the namaz al-shab. Anyway, so Ahmad ibn Salam, he says, I stood up for my namaz, but Amin, he was so fearing, and he said that, oh Salam, oh Ahmad ibn Salam, don't go away. Pray your namaz next to me. So he said, I was offering my namaz, and during the namaz, whenever I was finishing my 2 rakat namaz, this Amin is asking me a question. And he said, oh Ahmad, what do you think? Are they going to kill me? So are they going to, repeatedly is asking the same question. What is your opinion? What your nafs tell you, that are they going to spare me or they will kill me? So Ahmad ibn Salam, he said, I console him. I told him that you are the son of Khalifa Harun al-Rashid. You are the brother of Khalifa, and you yourself is the Khalifa. They can't kill you. They are not going to kill you. But still he was crying. And then Ahmad ibn Salam, he said, when it is a morning time, he was dragged from the prison, and his head was chopped. The Amin head was chopped. And this man, Ahmad ibn Salam, he was released. Anyway, so this type of cry, we call it a cry which is ajz, adam'atul ajz, a tear or a cry which is out of helplessness. But this cry, it is not appreciated at all. Because if you cry, you are not going to gain anything. But if you look at the follower of Ahlul Bayt, follower of Amir al-Mu'mineen, for example, Hujr ibn Adi, when he was given the sentence that you are going to be killed, so Hujr ibn Adi did not cry. he smiled. He says, Sadaqa Sayyidi Amirul Mu'mineen. Wallahi, what a truth Amirul Mu'mineen has given to me. And likewise, if you look at the Malik Ashtar, if you look at the Maitham al-Tammar, Rushayd al-Hajari, so many followers of Amirul Mu'mineen, they never ever cry when they find themselves, helpless. Even if you look at the Ashab of Aba Abdullah at the night of Ashura, they did not cry. They were actually smiling at when they heard that tomorrow it is a sacrifice day. So first cry, it is a cry which is out of helplessness. This type of cry, it is not appreciated at all. Let's come to the second cry. Ulama, they say it is a false cry. What is the false cry or false tear? Sometimes, in Urdu we have magarmach ke aasu, or addam atut timsak. In Arabic we have the same phrase. I don't know, in English they say crocodile tear. So what is the crocodile tear? They are false, tears. And there is a book of one of the alim, who's a literature alim. His name is Damir. He has written a book by the name of Al-Haywan, Hayatul Haywan. So over there, he brought a beautiful story why this phrase is become famous in the world. He says that why crocodile tear is always false tear. He said that actually there is a story behind it. He says the story is usually the crocodile, he carry his partner on his back when they are hungry to prey and find their food. So the male crocodile, he hold his partner on his back and they try and find in the ocean where there is, their prey. So when they find prey, they together, they kill that animal and then they eat it. So when they eat it, so what happened? Because the partner stomach becomes so heavy and the weight becomes so heavy, so this male crocodile cannot carry her. So what happened? So he, crocodile, he kills its partner and it eats it as well. And then after eating his partner, it start, crying. So that is why this tear, false tear, it is called crocodile, tear. Anyway, so in the time of Rasulullah, when there was a battle of Badr, so what happened at the battle of Badr? There are many kuffar, those were arrested. One kafir, he was arrested and he was brought before Rasulullah for Rasulullah to give judgment about him. So Rasulullah, when he looked at him, this man, he started crying. And he said, Ya Rasulullah, I made mistake. Please forgive me. And he started, he is weeping and so badly. He said, Ya Rasulullah, it was my fault and these people, they cheated me and they fooled me. Ya Rasulullah, I will not repeat again. If you spare me, I will be your ghulam for forever. Rasulullah, after, observing his cry, Rasulullah said, okay, leave him. This man, he goes back and he run away to Makkah. When he goes to Makkah, he said, his people, they asked why you were crying. He said, those cry were, those tears were false tears. Actually, I'm not a Muslim. I don't have any faith in Rasulullah. And if you go for battle next time, I will be the first person to fight with the Muslim. And this is what happened. At the time of battle of Uhud, this man again, he joined the army or the troop of the kuffar and he attacked on the Medina again. And then again, second time he was arrested and he was brought to the Rasulullah. And then again he started crying. Rasulullah said, enough is enough. Now your head has to be chopped. So sometimes, people, they have false cry. So this false cry, it is also not appreciated at all in Islam, as well as by your intellect. Third type of the cry, it is a cry which is out of regretfulness. When someone have done something wrong, so human being, he regret on that wrong thing, that why he is, and he cry over it, that why he has committed this wrong thing. However, this tear of out of regretness is divided also into two categories. First category, they say that it is appreciated when you have done something which is rectifiable. For example, someone has cheated someone, you have taken the right of someone, and now you have regret on it. So your regret and your cry is acceptable when you return the right of the person you have is snatched from. So this type of regretness, it is acceptable, and this type of cry is acceptable. And that is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if someone cry before him, so what Rasulullah said, man baka li dhambin ghufira lah. If someone cry on his sin before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, his sin is forgiven by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that is why Amirul Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wassalam, he said, Tuba leman baka ala khati'atihi. Glad tidings for someone who cry over his mistake, over his sin. So this is the first type. But second type of regret, it is sometime, the time has passed. There is no chance. Now, crying or shedding tear at that moment on your mistake, it is not useful. For example, there is a man who is called Ubaidullah ibn Ubaidullah al-Hurr al-Juhfi. Who is Ubaidullah ibn Hurr al-Juhfi? They say that Ubaidullah is a person when Imam al-Hussein was approaching to the Karbala. So in way, there was his house. So Imam alayhi salatu salam, he goes to the house of Ubaidullah ibn Hurr al-Juhfi. And he said, Imam al-Hussein, he said to him that I'm heading toward Karbala. Why don't you join me? So this man, he brought a lot of excuses. And he said, yeah, Imam, my camel are in that country and this country. My matters and my affairs are scattered. I cannot, join you. But I will give you some spears. I will give you the horses. I can give you the sword. Imam said, La hajata li birumhika wala farasik. I'm not in need of your horses. I'm not in need of your spear. I want you. I'm in need of you. He excused. And he said, yeah, Imam, I can't join you. And then, narration says when Abu Abdullah al-Hussein was martyred on Ashura day, and this man was informed, so this man, he come to Karbala, and he observed the beautiful, dead bodies, the dead body of John, which was giving the beautiful fragrance over there. Then this man started, having regret, and he started crying over there. So now time is gone. So this regret or this cry, it is not beneficial for him and not even acceptable. So third type of cry, it is called the cry out of regretfulness. So these three cry, of course, as I give you the detail about the third cry. So these cry, they are not acceptable by Islam at all. Let's come to the fourth cry. Fourth cry, it is a cry or the tear out of joy. Sometimes you are happy. You become you listen a news. So when you listen a news about something, which is good, so you cry. For example, narration says, Man baka shawqan ilal jannah askanahu Allahu fiha. For example, you recite Surat Waqi'ah, Surat Dahr, Surat Insan. Over there, when you recite mentioning of the Jannah, how Jannah is beautiful and how comfortable place it is, and how servant they are serving the people of heaven over there. So what Mu'mineen does? Mu'mineen start crying out of shock, out of joy, that what a beautiful Allah and what a beautiful Jannah Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prepared for us. So this cry or this tear, it is called a tear out of joy. And that is why you see, this is very important. When you look at this cry, Rasulullah has done it in his life. Narration says, Ja'far ibn Abi Talib, he was in Habasha. And on the day when Rasulullah got the victory of Khaybar, so Ja'far, he comes back, and he lived in Habasha for 14 years. And when he looked at the face of Ja'far, Rasulullah, he started crying. And over there, Rasulullah narration says, Baka farahan bi ru'yatihi. Rasulullah, he cried out of joy, because he looked at the Ja'far after 14 years. And Rasulullah, at that moment, he said, I don't know which victory I have to celebrate, coming or returning the Ja'far or the victory of the Khaybar. So sometimes human being, he has a cry or he sheds tear, which is called tears out of joy. So this tear, of course, it is a sunnah of Rasulullah, and it is a sunnah of prophets of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And also, this is number 4. Number 5, we have a cry which is called cry out of deprivation. You are deprived from something, something is was not achievable for you. So what happened? You cry and you shed tear over over it. For example, you wanted to go for Karbala, you wanted to go for Hajj, and visa is not done, visa is rejected. So you see many people, they start crying. Such a cry, it is appreciated by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Let me give you another example of from the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Tawbah verse number 92, he mentioned about the jihad. And over there he Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala exempt four group from the jihad. Number one, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Tawbah verse number 91, he mentioned three group, they are exempted from the jihad. And the fourth group, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned it in verse number 92. While Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Laysa ala du'afa, it is not incumbent, that the jihad is not incumbent on those who are da'if, they are not able to walk. In community you see people, they are weak people, they are elderly people, so jihad is not wajib upon them. And then Allah says, wala ala al-mar, the second category is those who are maris, they have problem in their food, or they are having fever, let's say any type of illness they have, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala exempt them. And the number three, wala ala alladhina la yajiduna ma yanfiquna haraj, because they do not have much money, because when you want to go for jihad, so you have to leave some money at home, so for your children to survive in your absence. Otherwise you go for jihad and your children, they will die out of starvation. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he said, these three groups are exempted. But fourth group, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned it in ayah number 92. What Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says over there, let me give you the background of the ayah. Actually, 7 people, they come to Rasulullah and they said, Ya Rasulullah, we want to join you in war and we want to do the jihad. So Rasulullah said, what do you have? Because if you want to go for jihad, you must have camel, you must have, horse with you, you must have a sword with you. So these 7 people, they said, Ya Rasulullah, give us sword, give us, horses, give us, a weapon, so we will fight with you. Rasulullah said, I don't have anything, because it's the last moment and we are about to leave. We do not have any arrangement. So these people, they go back, because they said, Ya Rasulullah, what to do? Rasulullah said, go back, it's over, finished, time is gone. So when they were going back, Quran says that the tear started shedding from their from their eyes. And then, this is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, explain their sentiment. He says, وَلَا عَلَى الَّذِينَ إِذَا مَا آتُوكَ لِتَحْمِلَهُمْ, Ya Rasulullah, the jihad is not incumbent for those who come to you and they told you to give them the weapons, and قُلْتَ لَا أَجِدُ مَا أَحْمِلُكُمْ, and you told them that I do not have any weapon, and then they return. And while they were going back, أَعْيُنُهُمْ تَفِيضُ مِنَ الدَّمْعِ حُزْنًا, because they were deprived from the jihad. Why? Because they had nothing with them. So that is why, because they were deprived from the jihad, so that is why they started shedding tear. So this fifth category of shedding tear, if you are deprived from a good thing and you shed tear, so it is appreciated by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is number 5 category of the tear. Number 6 category, very quickly because the time is going very fast. Recite Allah salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So this, this fourth category and the fifth category, it is something a good tier, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala endorsed them. And the sixth category, it is cry out of affection, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put love and compassion and the affection into our heart. We must have affection to to our children and to the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this type, sometime you find, let me give you the example over here. Once upon a time, Rasulullah, he was, walking, and he observed that there are people, they hold the feet of a bird, and they are, they have fastened the feet of the bird, and they are hitting the arrow on the bird. So Rasulullah, when he looks that, Rasulullah, he started crying. People, they ask, why, Ya Rasulullah, why you are crying? Rasulullah said, it's an animal. Why you are hitting, arrows on it? It's a, it has life. So why you are killing this, this bird? So sometimes we have a tear which is out of our affection. For example, when Qabil has killed his brother Habil, so narration says Prophet Adam alayhi salatu salam has cried for 40 days. And likewise, when it comes to the son of Rasulullah, whose name is Ibrahim, Rasulullah, he had a son, and this son, he passed away at the age of 18 months. So, and Ibrahim, when he passed away, Rasulullah started crying over him. So people, they started objecting on Rasulullah. Ya Rasulullah, why you are crying? Rasulullah responded that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given me the heart. I'm not a man of iron. I'm a, man. I'm a human being. And your heart is there. So, man la yarham la yurham. If someone does not have affection, so he's not going to receive any affection from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it is something natural. So this type of cry, it is also accepted and appreciated and endorsed by the seerah of Rasulullah. So this is number 6 cry. The 4th type of cry, or the 4th type of tear, it is called the tear of separation. Like if you look at the Quran, when Yusuf alayhi salatu salam was separated from Yaqub alayhi salatu salam, so Quran says وَبِيَضَّتْ عَيْنَاهُ. The eye, Yaqub alayhi salatu salam, he has cried so badly and he's shed tear so badly, his eyes, become white. He was not able to even see. He lost his eyesight. So anyway, so this type of cry, it is also appreciated. And all these last 4 cry we do over the Abu Abdullah al-Hussein and over the Shuhada of Karbala. And this last cry also, if you look at the cry out of Faraq, the out of separation, this cry, even it is endorsed by Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. When Imam al-Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam was leaving his tent on Ashura day, he was crying so badly. So Imam al-Hussein was not crying out of fear. Imam al-Hussein was not crying out of helplessness. Imam al-Hussein was crying out of separation, because he is going to leave his daughter Sakina. He is going to leave his family member. No, it is a time of separation. So that is why Abu Abdullah al-Hussein was crying. And that is why you see Imam al-Hussein, he himself, Ana qatilul abara. I'm a man who was killed while I was crying. So Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, he had affection. And because of that affection, he shed tear on the Sakina. Narration says when Imam al-Hussein was leaving, he called Bibi Fidda and he asked her that, oh Fidda, if I ask you something, will you give it to me, or will you fulfill that? Bibi Fidda, she responded, oh Hussein, you are like my son. I raised you in my lap. Even if you are my Imam, if you ask me even my life, I will sacrifice over you, Ya Hussein. Imam al-Hussein at last moment, he asked from Fidda, oh Fidda, I'm leaving, I'm separating from you. So please look after my daughter Sakina. And that is why narration says, whenever Shimr ibn Dhul Jawshan wanted to hit and wanted to slap on the face of Bibi Sakina, Bibi Fidda used to come in between. And when it is the 11th of Muharram, narration says when all the ladies and all the khawateen of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wassalam, they were taken as captive. And on 11th day of Muharram, narration mentioned that the family of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, they are sitting on the ashes of a tent. And at that moment, some people, they come with the camel and the ropes. They said, we want to ride you over the camel. Bibi Zainab alayhi salam, she comes forward and she said, we are the daughters of Rasulullah, we are the banat of Rasulullah, we are the daughters of Amirul Mu'mineen. Now mahram cannot touch us, so we will ride ourselves, we will board ourselves on the camels. And it was the moment Bibi Zainab alayhi salam, she ride each and every woman. And when it is when everyone is on the camel, so Bibi Zainab, narration says, nadarat yaminan wa shimala, she looked at right and the left, and then she faced to the maqtal and she said, Abul Fadl al-Abbas, anta alladhi arkabtani idha aradtu al-khuruj min al-Madina. Oh Abbas, where you are, when I left Medina, you have arranged so beautifully for my ride. Ya Abul Fazil Abbas, there is no one who can help me and support me in riding on the camel. And Abbas Sayyid al-Sajjad, he comes forward and he helped Bibi Zainab. But narration says this caravan was passed from the Maqtal. When they reaches to the Maqtal, each and every woman, because their hand was fastened, so all of them, they fold themselves on their warisin. Narration says Ummul Banin, or the narration says that the Layla, she fall down herself on the body of Ali al-Akbar. Farwa, she fall down on the body of Qasim. And Kulthum, she fall down on the body of Abul Fazil Abbas. But Bibi Zainab alayhi salam, she fall down on the body of Imam al-Hussein. And over there she started lamenting and crying. And she said to Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, oh my brother Hussein, you have given me the amana, and which was your daughter Sakina. Oh Hussein, forgive me, I could not save your daughter Sakina from the slaps of Shimr ibn Dhul Jawshan and from the lashes of Zalimin. But Ya Hussein, note it, only Sakina was not oppressed. If you look at my back is wounded by their lashes. وَسَيَعْلَمُ الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا أَيَّ مُنْقَلَبٍ يَنْقَلِبُونَ إِنَّا لِلَّهِ وَإِنَّا إِلَيْهِ راجعون. ماتم حسین.
Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, لاش زینب رو کے پکاری بھیا ہمارا کوئی نہیں. لاش پہ زینب رو کے پکاری بھیا ہم کوئی نہیں. خیمے جلے اور سجاد قیدی کفنی تمہارا کوئی نہیں. لاش پہ زینب رو کے بھیا ہمارا دیکھو اے بھائی میں زہرا کی جائی لاش پہ آئی ہوں بے پردہ ہو کر. دیکھو اے بھائی میں زہرا کی جائی لاش پہ آئی ہوں بے پردہ ہو کر. مارا گیا ہے عباس غازی قاسم دلارا کوئی نہیں. لاش پہ زینب کے پکاری بے کس یتیموں کا قافلہ بھائی تو ہی بتا دے کہاں لے کے جاؤں. بے کس یتیموں کا قافلہ بھائی تو ہی بتا دے کہاں لے کے جاؤں. لاشیں سنبھالوں یا کنبے کو دیکھوں غم کا کنارہ کوئی نہیں. لاشیں پہ رو کے پکاری ہمارا ویرائے خیمے خالی ہے جھولا تشنا سکینہ کے قصے کو دیکھوں. ویرائے خیمے خالی ہے جھولا تشنا سکینہ کے قصے کو دیکھوں. گر کر ہوئی چور بے آس بیٹی اب تو سہارا کوئی نہیں. لاش پہ زینب رو پکاری ہمارا کریل جواں کی میت ہے آئی کہتی ہے لیلا اے میرے اکبر. کریل جواں کی میت ہے آئی کہتی ہے لیلا اے میرے اکبر. کس کی نظر تم کو کھا گئی ہے میرا سہارا کوئی نہیں. لاش نب رو کے ماں بولی یوں رو کے زہرا کی جائی، کرب و بلا میں گر لٹ گیا ہے۔ بولی یوں رو کے زہرا کی جائی، کرب و بلا میں گر لٹ گیا ہے۔ مارا گیا ہے اب میرا بھائی، وارث ہمارا کوئی نہیں۔ شیخ رو کے پکاری غم کی کہانی کس کو سناؤں، بھیا ہمارا تم بھی چلے۔ غم کی کہانی کس کو سناؤں، بھیا ہمارا تم بھی چلے۔ سجاد بیمار ہم ہے قیدی، وارث ہمارا کوئی نہیں۔ پہ زینب رو کے پکاری ہمارا کوئی، کرب و بلا میں ہم کو بلانا، آ کے وہاں ہم پر لے زیارت۔ کرب و بلا میں ہم کو بلانا، آ کے وہاں ہم پر لے زیارت۔ میرا تمنا آؤں وہاں میں، اس کا سوا کوئی آرزو نہیں۔ لاش زینب رو کے پکاری، بھیا ہمارا کوئی نہیں۔ خیمے جلے اور سجاد قیدی، وارث ہمارا کوئی نہیں۔ یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین۔ سورۃ الواقعہ الفاتحہ۔ Now inshallah prepare for salah, and inshallah we say ziyarat after